Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I watched the first Transformer movie from 2007 from Michael Bay's series. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know a lot about Transformers. This is a series I've kind of admired from afar, and I've always wanted to get into it. Because I'm obviously a big geek, and robots that can turn into cars, airplanes, all that stuff, that's sick. And as someone who's into Star Wars, Marvel, and DC, we've got a lot of crap stuff, and I'm just ready to switch it up. And not saying I won't watch that stuff anymore, I definitely will. The new Superman was great. I just want to broaden my interest, join new fandoms. So, let's get into it. Transformers are Cybertronians from the planet Cybertron. They're aliens that can disguise themselves by scanning tech and then being able to transform into that tech. For example, in the movie, Bumblebee was an old yellow Camaro and he went and he scanned a new yellow Camaro. And that was his new disguise he could transform into. There was even a little Transformer dude who transformed into Sam's phone, who is the main character in this movie. And on Cybertron, there's two factions, the Autobots and the Decepticons. And these two factions go to civil war because they're fighting for the Allspark. And the Allspark gives new lives to Cybertronians. It's a giant cube that can grant life to a machine. I'm not 100% sure if it can create machines with life though. So the Autobots are trying to keep it away from the Decepticons. The Decepticons want to use it to take over the universe. And the leader of the Decepticons is Megatron. And the leader of the Autobots is Optimus Prime. Now, in this movie, these two are supposedly brothers. I know that's not the case for other adaptations, though. Transformers Christmas does not sound very fun if that's the case.
See, Megatron, the humans have wonderful traditions. You can't kill them.
You're right. Once I've taken over the world, it'll be Christmas every day for the Decepticons.
Anyway, during the Civil War on Cybertron, the Autobots managed to send the Allspark into space, and it lands on Earth. And Megatron follows suit trying to get it, but he lands in the Arctic Circle and freezes himself. And sometime after that, I'm not sure how long, an adventurer named Archibald Witwicky finds him frozen in the ground. When he inspected him closer, he accidentally turned on Megatron's navigation, and his navigation system imprinted the coordinates or the map to the Allspark on Captain Archibald Witwicky's glasses. I'm not 100% sure of this next part. I got this from the fandom, but apparently that event blinded him and it made him insane, and apparently spent the rest of his days in an insane asylum. But now, fast forward to present day, Sam Witwicky, his either great-grandson or great-great-grandson, has those same glasses now and is trying to sell them on eBay. Sam goes to buy a new car with his dad, and he wanted to get money to get the new car by selling those glasses. He comes across a rusty old Camaro, which he gets, and it ends up being Bumblebee. Bumblebee then protects him from any Decepticons that come after him. And along the way, Mikaela ends up getting into the mix, which is Sam's love interest in the show played by Megan Fox. Also, Sam is played by Shia LaBeouf. Shortly after that, the Autobots fall to Earth and they find Bumblebee. Sam and Mikaela and the rest of the Autobots go back to Sam's house to look for the glasses, but they can't find them. And then a secret special unit of the government comes to Sam's house called Sector 7. They take Sam and Mikaela away, and then the Autobots come and save them from Sector 7. After this, we find out the government has Megatron and the Allspark in a government facility. Super smart to have both of them there. A little mofo Decepticon comes and unfreezes Megatron. And that's when all hell breaks loose. Then the plan is to take the Allspark to the city to keep it away from the Decepticons, and it becomes an all-out battle in the city. And the Autobots win, and Sam and Mikaela are together. Now the Autobots are zooming around protecting Earth, and Optimus Prime sends out a signal to the rest of the Autobots in the universe and tells them that they're there on Earth. So yeah, that's basically what happens in the movie. So let's break it down. Let's go over the common criticisms of this movie. So one of the common criticisms that I saw circling this movie was that it was just too different from the original cartoon. Now, personally, this doesn't pertain to me quite yet. I have not seen the original cartoon. My understanding is that the OG cartoon isn't even close to as gritty as this. I guess it's also not set in a world that's nearly as grounded either. So this is more for the people who watch the video that's seen both. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. I'm interested to hear about it. The second one I've heard is it focuses way too much on action and explosions. That's just Michael Bay. I do get what people are saying with this. Personally, it didn't really bother me. I thought the action was pretty diverse between the car chases and the fight scenes, and I will say that it definitely was more action based than it was story. Did that personally bother me a lot? No. This is also my introduction to Transformers, though. Would I have liked it if it was a little more story based? Probably. The biggest problems I had with the fight scenes were that you just couldn't really tell what was going on sometimes in the fight scenes. I think it's just because the Transformers were just so big and they had so many moving parts to their bodies that it was sometimes hard to see who was hitting who or what was hitting what. And then the last thing I heard was the bad acting. So actually, I think that's pretty far from the truth. In my opinion, the only acting that I didn't buy a lot of the time was Megan Fox. When she had a part where she needed to be sarcastic or kind of mysterious a little bit, like you didn't know what was going on with her, she did it really well and she delivered it. But when she had to take things seriously, any scene with her being kind of serious or try to be endearing, I just didn't buy it. But Shia LaBeouf as Sam did awesome. He really matched the fast pace of this movie. I mean, he always had something to say, he was super quippy, and the dynamic he had with every character felt believable. I mean, especially with his parents. And that too, his parents were great in that role. I believed every word that came out of their mouth. So I don't think it was as much as acting was the problem. I think it was more the writing. The dialogue wasn't always great, and I think that's probably what it came down to more. And the common criticisms, that's a good segue into what I want to talk about next, which is the things I didn't really like. I talked about some not great dialogue or not great writing just a second ago, and I think that really pertains to Sector 7 in this movie. Probably my biggest gripe. Sector 7 is supposed to be this undercover special operatives unit in the government. Like, they're basically supposed to be the guys at Area 51. But they were useless in like every part of the movie, except for some comic relief. And I'm all for goofiness and comic relief, but it just didn't work with them really. The contrast just wasn't good. And I'll say the jokes and stuff landed with them, but again, it just didn't feel right. When they got into real conflict, they were just a bunch of mumbling dopes when it came down to it. And come on, how smart do you have to be to have the Allspark and Megatron in the same place? And I already talked about really everything else I had wrong with the movie when I talked about common criticisms. There are some questions I have, though. I'm kind of confused how Megatron got frozen in the first place. I understand he crash landed on Earth, but bro is literally running through buildings, destroying hundreds of thousands of pounds of concrete, and I'm pretty sure they don't really get knocked out. And even if he did, he would have woken up at some point. He would have just froze. And I thought to myself, okay, maybe he was injured and he couldn't get out. But when he gets unfrozen, there's nothing wrong with him. At least it doesn't seem like that. I wouldn't think there was something wrong with you if you're running through buildings. Well, I mean, he could be on Cybertronian drugs. Tell me what you guys think in the comments, or tell me if I'm stupid and I just don't know what I'm talking about. But now for things I do like. Honestly, as simple as the action. It was just cool. I'm a guy, I like explosions and fights. Simple as that. I was also a fan of the CGI, specifically because I know it was made in 2007, and they revolutionized the way a movie should look. Even now, some movies don't look that good. I mean, that movie's still rivaling some of the best CGI we have today. And when I say that, I mean, it just looks really real. I mean, if I imagine a Transformer in real life, if I watched the OG Transformers and didn't know about this movie, that's what I thought they'd look like. I already talked about how Shia LaBeouf was a huge highlight in this movie. He just really brought home that performance. And he did well pushing that fast pace of the movie. Now, I don't always like this in movies, but it felt like it worked here. And again, I'm not saying if they slowed it down and did it more story driven and really went over the Transformers themselves more, I wouldn't have liked that. Because I probably would have. This movie got straight to the point though. Gave us the backstory, got right to the action, and I can just appreciate that. Sometimes it's nice to just have movies like that. And I understand it's a franchise, so some people might not think like, hey, it's a franchise. Like, this is a whole ass universe. Like, we don't want stuff like that. We want to build upon it. Which I get that. I feel the same way to a point. And I mean, lastly, just the Transformers. I like the idea of them because they're technological beings and they came up with the reason that kind of makes sense that they're alive. I am curious how the Allspark was made though. Hopefully I find that out in the next movies or the series. It's just another cool franchise to get into. I'm curious to see what you guys thought of the movie. I want to know if anything went over my head and I didn't talk about certain things. And tell me what you think of the franchise as a whole. The shows, the movies, everything. Now, would I recommend this movie? In simple terms, yes, I would recommend this movie. Now, why would I recommend this movie? Well, if you don't take fandoms too seriously, this is a fun, action-packed movie with a cool-ass idea. And if you are someone who's looking for a new franchise to love, There's a lot of media to pick from. I mean, there's so many shows and movies, not to mention the comics if you're into that. And there's also a bunch of games. I don't know if they're any good or not. And lastly, Linkin Park. Good music choice. But guys, that is the video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.